The women who both attracted and frightened him, and an Italy dominated in his youth by Mussolini and Pope Pius XII, inspired the dreams that Federico Fellini started recording in notebooks in the 1960s. Life and dreams were raw material for his films. Viaggio Celebrity presents Top 20 Federico Fellini films. Number 20. The Voice of the Moon 1990. The amusing and entertaining adventures of recently released mental patient and his band of misfits discover conspiracies to conquer while looking for love. Roberto Benigni plays a character who recalls how his grandmother referred to him as Finocchio. In 2002, Benigni directed and starred as the title character in a film based on the book Finocchio. This was Fellini's last film. Number 19. Ginger and Fred 1986. Amelia and Pippo are reunited after several decades to perform their old music hall act on a TV variety show. It's both a touchingly nostalgic journey into the past and viciously satirical attack on television in general and Italian TV in particular, portraying it as a mindless freak show aimed at morons. Upon the film's release in the USA, Ginger Rogers sued the production and the distributors for misappropriation and infringement of her public personality. The case was dismissed, the judgment stating that the film referred to her and Auster only obliquely. Number 18. Intervista 1987. Cinecittà, the huge movie studio outside Rome, is 50 years old and Fellini is interviewed by a Japanese TV crew about the films he has made there over the years, as he begins production on his latest film. A young actor portrays Fellini arriving at Cinecittà the first time by trolley to interview a star. Marcello Mastroianni, dressed as Mandrake, the magician, floats by a window, and Fellini, followed by TV crew, takes him to Anita Ekberg's villa, where the Trevi fountain scene from La Dolce Vita is shown on a seat that appears and disappears as if by magic. Number 17. City of Women 1980. Marcello is in the compartment of an Italian train, facing forward when the mineral water of the woman seated across from him starts to fall toward him. He catches the bottle and makes eye contact and follows her when she leaves the compartment. For a few moments she finds him attractive too. Then suddenly she gets off the train and starts walking through a field. Marcello follows her, loses her, finds himself in a large hotel surrounded by women. A feminist conference is taking place and he tries to escape. In a 2020 interview with The Times, veteran Italian film journalist Gloria Setta recalled watching filming. There were 50 naked women here, but because Fellini used incense to get a hazy light, it felt like being in church. He would be flanked on set by a Jesuit priest and his psychoanalyst. Number 16. Fellini Satyricon 1969. In 1st century Rome, two student friends, Inculpio and Ascilto, argue about ownership of the boy Gittone, divide their belongings and split up. The boy allowed to choose who he goes with, choose Ascilto. Only a sudden earthquake saves Incolpio from suicide. We follow Incolpio through a series of adventures where he is eventually reunited with Ascilto, and which culminates in them helping a man kidnap a hermaphrodite demigod from a temple. The god dies, and as punishment, Incolpio becomes impotent. We then follow them in search of a cure. The film is loosely based on the book Satyricon by Gaius Petronius Arbiter, the arbiter of elegance in the court of Nero. The book has only survived in fragments, and the film reflects this by being very fragmentary itself, even stopping in mid-sentence. Number 15. Variety Lights 1950. When a young woman of beauty and talent joins a provincial vaudeville troupe, they are suddenly playing to packed houses and their aging comic Jaco Dalmont gets big ideas. He falls in love with the ingenuous Liliana and ignores his companion of several years, Melina Amo. Also believing he can be an impresario, he hires other actors and begins rehearsal for a revue that will star Liliana and himself. Liliana admires Checo, but she is being squired around town by Adelmo Conti, the assistant to the region's biggest impresario. Can Checo's new troupe hold on to Liliana, and how will Melina fare? Number 14. Fellini's Casanova 1976, an episode tale which mostly takes place in 18th century Italy. Giacomo Casanova is a modestly wealthy adventurer who leads a futile existence. His only strength lies in seduction and sexual performance. His life becomes increasingly meaningless as lovers slip away. The film is loosely based off the biography by Giacomo Casanova himself. Although, like all of Fellini's literary adaptations, the film is decorated with a wreath of absurdity. The sea in the film was created from cut-up black trash bags. Federico Fellini wanted to put high emphasis on the plasticity of Casanova's life and journey. Number 13. Orchestra Rehearsal 1978. In a medieval Roman chapel, now an oratorio, an elderly factotum sets up for rehearsal. The musicians arrive, joking and teasing. A union shop steward explained that a TV crew is there. Talking to them is optional, and there will be no extra compensation. Musicians talk about their instruments. The German conductor arrives and puts them through their paces. He yells, he insults, the shop steward calls a 20-minute break. The conductor retreats to his dressing room and talks about how the world of music has changed, moving away from respect for the conductor. He returns to the rehearsal to find the orchestra in full revolt. What can bring them back to the music? Number 12. The Clowns 1970. A ragu of real memories and mockumentary with Fellini exploring a childhood obsession circus clowns. Fellini considered Ringmaster as an alternate career. Here he is a mesmerized MC sharing his still intense feeling with his audience. In the first of 3 segments as a child, Fellini awakens to the raising of a circus outside his home and he must explore it. The clowns remind young Federico of strange and terrifying neighbors in his seaside hometown of Rimini. So the clowns recreate a few of them in film vignettes. Fellini decided to make a documentary about what happened to the classic jester of his youth. So he accompanies a farcical film crew to Paris to investigate clown history and track down surviving greats. Number 11. The White Sheik 1952. Who would have thought that only moments after arriving at Rome for their honeymoon, the young and pure bride Wanda would sneak out of the room, leaving her fastidious groom Ivan all alone. Obsessed with the masculine Fernando Rivoli, the hero of her favorite romantic photo novel, the White Sheik Wanda plucks up the courage to meet him in person, only to be seduced by the arrogant protagonist so far away from the hotel and her husband. As a result, perplexed by Wanda's strange disappearance and unable to disclose the news to his family, Ivan meanders through the ill-lit Roman street in search of his wife on pins and needles, waiting for their 11 o'clock appointment with his uncle and the papal audience at the Vatican. What does the new day have in store for the separated newlyweds?